So I want to talk a little about low back pain, and two of the things I recommend for low back pain are posture and cobra or sphinx. And when it comes to posture, you really need to sit up on your sit bones, which are the rounder parts of the hip bones down at the bottom. It's also called the ischial tuberosity. And if you sit up on those, this is anatomically, your hip bones are here and the sacrum is a triangular bone that sits in the middle. And the lower back muscles all feed into the sacrum. So the thing is, when you sit up on the hip or the sit bones, the sacrum is allowed to be free to move. And the sacrum needs to move on a transverse axis, so it rotates or it shifts a little like this. And then that mobility allows us to sit, walk, and move around. It's the same as the ribs. If the ribs can't move, we can't rotate and twist. So the sacrum needs to be free in order for the lower back to be free. As soon as you start to roll slightly back on the hip bones onto what are called the rami, which are the flatter parts of the hip bones, it engages the sacrum, which then engages the lower back, and it makes it get more stuck. And that is where a lot of low back pain comes from. So your sacrum gets stuck and then the lower back gets stuck, and then it hurts to move from any position. So ideally you sit up on the sit bones and the sacrum's free and the lower back is free. So a lot of people with chronic low back pain need to learn how to sit right and stand right. And then they need to do a posture, which is either called cobra or sphinx. And those are the two things I recommend for low back pain. So let me show you how you're supposed to sit. So when you're sitting, you sit up on this round part, which is the sit bone. And you have a little curve still forward in the lower back. If I slightly drop back off the sit bone, it doesn't look much different, but it actually pulls my sacrum and my lower back. And that's a chronic stress. And if you sit all day long, you're going to feel that all day long. So I recommend sitting like this, keeping that curve forward, keep your belly strong so everything's towards the midline, and that's how you sit. And also when you stand, you need to do the same thing, where you think about keeping your buttocks strong, keep that forward curve, keep everything towards the midline. So you think about a thread coming from the crown of your head, dropping down all the way down to the ground. And you want everything to curve around that thread. So you have a forward curve in your neck, and then a slightly backward curve in your upper back, and then a forward curve in your lower back, and then the sacrum goes slightly outward. But all of that goes around that single thread coming from the crown of your head going down to the ground. Your legs are strong, your buttocks are strong, your belly's strong, your shoulders are slightly back. And so to find that position, bring your arms up to the side. You can bring your palms up, that brings your shoulders back. Then keeping your shoulders back, rotate your palms back down and bring your arms down. And that's the position your arms should be. And the crown, think of the crown of your head pulling up. So keep everything balanced around that midline. The other thing that you do in low back pain is cobra or sphinx. So what you do is you just come onto your elbows and let your lower back relax. So there's a softening in your lower back. It's the opposite of sitting if you slouch. And I recommend doing this for about 30 seconds twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And that allows your lower back to relax. Typically, if you're in this position for a long period of time, you want to squeeze your buttocks. In cobra, actually, I think you're up on your arms and you're on the top of your feet, and everything is strong and tight. I want it to be a very relaxed position where you just go like this for 30 seconds twice a day. Don't do it longer or you'll start to feel pain in your lower back. So those are the two things I recommend for lower back pain. It would be posture and that position. And that's pretty much it. There's a lot of general yoga poses and just stretching in general that are helpful, and keep everything moving, because if you're tight up here, it's going to affect down here. If you're tight down here, it's going to affect here. So everything needs to be loose. And once it is, your back pain will be better. Thank you.